money translated to at least 3 more connecteds hidden away from the dark practitioners who wanted to use them for spare parts. Not enough to save them all, no, but enough to count. I had to believe that.
"Sometime today, princess."
Double-tasking one set of fingers to offer Z my opinion of his people management skills, I used the other to pull a scatter of cards out of the deck. Here we go. 4 of Cups, the Magician, 8 of Swords, King of Cups. 2 that made sense, 1 that didn't, and 1 that might make me kill someone. But first things first.
"What do you got?"
Z prompted. I shoved the cards back in place, rezipping my suit. We go up. I squinted at the fissure-ridden rock wall. The 4 of Cups typically showed a grumpy young man sitting at the base of a tree, focusing on 3 cups on the ground, totally missing the cup that floated above him. It could mean lots of things in lots of different scenarios, but in a game of hide-and-seek, I peered high. The problem with the client's choice of Mount Swiss cheese here was there probably were a half-dozen holes that legitimately tunneled all the way into the mountain, along with 1,000,001 false starts. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to waste. The place was heavily patrolled, with the next choppers due at dawn. Fortunately, the cards were pointing the way. I looked yet higher. "Give me a boost?" Z moved into position beside me, cupping his hands. He braced me easily as I scrabbled up the side of the wall. I usually preferred to avoid climbing anything more challenging than a mound of pillows, but the tech gloves helped. So did the fact that Z's arms were solid, even fully outstretched.
"You got something?"
he asked. "Hole."
"We got those down here."
"Mine's better." I glanced toward him. "But it's going to be tight. You and Atlas Shrugged will need to suck it in. Boost me the rest of the way." I knelt on the narrow ledge while Z free-climbed up behind me, barely grunting with the effort. And bingo. Half hidden beneath a rough outcropping, a fissure sank into the side of the mountain, maybe wide enough for a man so long as he wasn't channeling Mr. Potato Head. I picked up a handful of rocks and tossed them into the hole. They skittered a few feet, then fell a fair distance before hitting what I was assumed was bottom.
"Can't see a damned thing,"
Z muttered, angling his flashlight beam into the opening.
"Blast it bigger?"
Atlas pulled himself up behind us.
"That would definitely make the seismic activity unstable. About a fifth of this wall is just itching for a reason to fall down." "Right."
Z turned toward me and gave me his flashlight, along with a crooked grin.
"Ladies first, then."
Such a gentleman. Still, if anything went wrong, they could haul me out of that hole a lot easier than I could haul them. Sliding the flashlight up my sleeve and manfully resisting the bad joke, I flattened myself on my stomach, then wormed into the tight space. It was claustrophobic enough to make me panic, but I wriggled ahead anyway, edging deeper and deeper. Using my toes to dig into the loose rocks against the side of the mountain, I snagged an outcropping to haul myself forward and dropped into open space.
"Jesus!"
Z's curse cracked above me, and iron fists clamped down on my ankles as the stone I'd grabbed for crumbled into the cavern below. I hung precariously upside down in full possum for a long, queasy moment, then fumbled the flashlight out of my sleeve. It only took a second to bring a smile to my face. Dead bodies did that, especially when they'd been dead a long time. I wiggled my ankles to loosen Z's grip. "All clear!"
"Rolling!"
Z's shout was my sole warning before he dropped me. I curled into a protective ball and plummeted down several feet, then somersaulted off a mound of scree and rock dust that had accumulated in the center of the room. I landed cheek to jawbone with the nearest skeleton. After an impressive amount of cursing, Z dropped to the rock pile behind me, followed by his men. The thud of their boots echoed ominously, and I thought I heard the scatter of stones falling deep inside the mountain. The place must be as hollow as a honeycomb.
"Arrows,"
Z grunted, poking at the pile of bones and moldy clothes that circled our small mound.
"Not friendly fire, I'm thinking. At least they're old as shit."
He tossed me one of the long, slender shafts, then fanned his flashlight in a wide arc.
"Those bars over there look a bit too solid, though."
I nodded. 8 of Swords. The light flared in my face.
"Which means?"
"Well, for us it means restrictions we can get around, if we open our eyes."
"That's beautiful."
Z stepped over the mounds of bones and strode forward, then ran a hand over the surface of the bars.
"These are embedded in the floor and ceiling. We ain't getting through this way."
He flicked his flashlight beam.